I'm Commander Shepard, and the Unnamed Games podcast is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Shepard out.
Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to episode 31 of the Unnamed Games podcast. I'm Craig, your usual host, and with me this week I have Mr. Alan Longfangs Howlett. How are you, mate?
Hello, people of the internet. This week I will mostly be impersonating Craig. However, on this take, which is take 2 for you out there because you won't know that, he hasn't moved his hands nearly as much as he did the first time. So all these hand movements I'm doing for the camera, the YouTubers, will make no sense to you. But the first time we took the take, and I was pretending to be Craig, he moved them a lot. Just so we're clear. Thank you very much.
Oh, super. I don't know what he's talking about in terms of moving my hands because I never move my hands. But what we're going to do now is we're going to move over to Mr. Phil and Mr. Speed Freak Phil. How are you, sir?
Hello, people of the internet. This week I'm impersonating Alan because Alan is impersonating Craig, and Alan likes to do lots of hand gestures, but only because Craig likes to do lots of hand gestures as well. I'm fine, thank you very much.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. It's a bit of a funny start to this week because it's been a bit all over the place. Well, I was woefully underprepared, ran out of time. It's just been all over the place, and unfortunately this week,
that's what she said.
Yeah, unfortunately this week, Mr. Ratley is not feeling too well, so he's taking this week off just to rest and relax. But we'll see him back next week. So, as per usual, let's get started with finding out what everyone's been up to. So, Mr. Allen, what have you been up to this week, my man?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Craig. I am glad you asked.
I'm glad that you're
that's
glad.
The reason why we're doing the second take, because you forgot to ask the first time. Excellent. Thank you very much. Just a little bit of a sneak peek behind the curtains there, listeners. So this week I've not been walking quite so much. On a personal note, if you've been watching the health check, Alan's health check for this week, I haven't been walking quite so much because my cardiac rehabilitation. Yeah, that's not how walking goes, Phil. But that's how robots walk, not a robot. So my cardiac rehabilitation contact lady, very nice lady, Jenny, has got me doing an exercise program from the British Heart Foundation. And oh my God, I'm tired. Oh my God, I am tired. I am. If I needed any indication of how seriously unfit I am, that thing has shown me how unfit I am. The walking was not pushing me enough. That hour, 55-minute long workout routine. I'm basically watching a middle-aged 50, probably older woman do a workout, and she's fitter than I am, and making me look like I'm just a sad man. So I'm getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. But because of that, I'm continuously tired. I'm literally going to bed.
I think the rest of us might struggle by the sound of that exercise program.
Probably.
I'm just saying.
I'm using muscles I'd forgotten I had, to be frank. I really am. But the main thing is that I'm just continuously tired. I get up in the morning and I've done my hours workout, and then half an hour later I'm thinking, what I could do with a nap. I don't know whether that's the age or the workout. I'm not sure. But
bit of both, probably.
Right. Yeah, a bit of both, probably. So moving on from the personal stuff, what have I been doing? Well, I've just the past couple of days I have watched Invincible, which I believe was episode 5. Which was on Prime, and that was pretty good. That was a fantastic episode, I have to say. If you're not yet watching that, I would definitely recommend it. Some very interesting things happened. The big shock of the first and maybe second episode isn't quite as prevalent, although there is some of that in episode 5. But there's sort of inklings of a much darker backstory. And I'm really enjoying it. Really, really loving it. Watched the episode 4, I think it is. I might have got the episode numbers the wrong way around for Invincible and this one, which is not Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The one where Captain America's a bit of an arse, actually, to be fair. But he's no Steve Rogers. He really isn't. But this episode, again, was a cracker. Really enjoyed it. Watched it this evening. Again, if you're not watching that is on Disney+. I seriously recommend that you do. That's pretty much all the TV I've watched because I've been busy playing 2 games. But I've not been playing Terraria. I have been playing Outriders. I don't know whether you boys were aware of that, but considering I've been playing with Craig and Phil pretty much every night all week, and I will be talking a bit more about that during the news section. But I'm having a blast with it. I'm having so much fun with you guys.
Pyromancer.
Yeah, Trickster. Absolutely.
And a devastated
Yeah,
in there.
so it's just fun. It's just a fun game,
Mm.
and there's enough elements of like messing around with your skills and trying to make your build better and stuff like that. And the world is interesting enough that it basically it hits all the marks that Anthem didn't.
Mhm.
Apart from it doesn't have javelins.
Yeah.
But considering
fly.
And you can't
yeah,
fly.
exactly. Considering Anthem was, sometimes when I'm hitting up those powers, I feel like I am flying. But anyway, I'm the trickster. I fly around the battlefield. But yeah, so I mean, I don't want to have a go at Anthem on this one, but considering that was a AAA title from a AAA studio and the amount of money they put into it, and now you've got People Can Fly, which is, let's be honest, it's not top tier developer. It's the middle class developer with what we'd call a B, AA or a B class game. They've knocked it out of the park. It's just fun. It's fun factor 10. It feels like an arcade shooter like you used to have. It's got enough elements of Destiny with the powers and the sort of the kind of sort of like the leveling up of the objects to make it feel really fun and interesting and make you want to keep on playing. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably be too tired to play tonight, boys, because it'll be past my bedtime by the time we finish. But tomorrow I'm in.
Nice.
I'm in.
Nice. Cool. Lovely stuff, mate. Mr. Phil, what have you been up to? Well, apart from playing Outriders, that is.
I have been playing Outriders. For me, actually, I think that game links nicely into, you remember the Mass Effect multiplayer? It feels like a Mass Effect multiplayer, but with a story.
Yeah.
Particularly with the Devastating. You got that little ability where you jump up in the air with some rocks and you shoot across. It's like the biotic charge ability.
Yeah. Well, the Trickster's quite like that as well, I think. The Trickster whizzes around the place and
Yeah.
So yeah, I played a lot of Outriders, obviously with you guys. In terms of like TV watching, so for the past couple of weeks I've been talking about anime, and with me spending a lot of time at home, not seeing a lot of people, the line between reality is starting to blur a little bit, and they start to get a bit too attached to some of the characters. So I was like, okay, I need to step away from that and move back into a more reality-based TV series. So do you know what? I actually went back and started watching through some Top Gear. I like the newer stuff. So I completely ignored the one with what's his name, Chris with the red hair. Yeah, can't stand that. So I skipped that season completely. Went straight in on the Matt LeBlanc series. And Matt LeBlanc is funny. I do enjoy him. He's very good. And now I watch it back, I even miss Rory. I didn't like him the first time round, but now I watch him back, I actually miss him a little bit. So I've been really enjoying watching that. And that has then got me basically playing Forza Horizon 4 again. Because I was like, they did an episode where they got in there and they got the Jap tuners, they got the RX-7 and the Skyline. I was like, ooh, I'm just going to go place that on Forza and mac it up and add some bumpers and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's proper cool. And obviously Forza with its full performance, 60 FPS on the Series X looks absolutely banging. They've added their new little photo mode challenge now where you have to take a picture of every car in the game, which for your information is 751 cars currently.
Wasn't that in the game already? I know it was definitely in the last photo one because I was collecting them. So
yeah, they've added like.
Or am I thinking about Test Drive Unlimited?
Might have been. Well, I don't. When they originally launched the game, it didn't have that in it. They added it at a later date where when you took pictures, it would register which cars you'd taken a picture of. And then every week they put in a challenge as well. So it'd be like take a picture of a hypercar at the off-road Wild Tracks Park, or it'll be take a picture of it in Edinburgh Castle or something like that. And they give you some extra points just for that towards your seasonals.
Right.
And then you get like a free car or a car pass at 50% and 80% of the completion of the weekly challenges.
Cool.
So I just kind of dipped back into that. Really enjoyed that. A couple of the weekly challenges have some online stuff as well, so I've done a bit of competitive stuff on there. Not particularly enjoyable, but got me a car, so hey, can't complain. That's pretty much my week. So back in reality, looking at cars, playing with cars on Forza, and just
nice. Yeah, back at reality, driving down country lanes at 140 mile an hour.
yeah.
You've been in a car with me?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. There's no
anyway,
point to watch this. No.
Let's not discuss that further.
Cool, good stuff, mate. Well, for me then, obviously I'm not going to go for Outriders. You all know I've been playing that as well. A couple other things I've been kind of playing around with. Has anybody heard of a game called Undertale?
I've heard of it. I've never played it. It's a bit of a retro style game, isn't it?
Yeah, retro. Yeah, very retro. And yeah, you're right, Phil. It got very good scores, and it's always intrigued me because you look at it and it looks like it's on the ZX Spectrum. That is the level of graphics. It's kind of 16 colours, very bleepy bloopy sound effects. And I thought, what is it about this game? You look at the reviews and it's 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, 5 out of 5. It's just massive scores. Like, most outlets have scored it really, most reputable outlets. So, I mean, I've not played a huge amount of it. I've stuck maybe an hour into it, but I kind of understand where they're coming from. It's a very difficult game to describe without kind of ruining what the game is. And it kind of challenges, if you play RPGs, it challenges your perception of what an RPG game should be at every turn, at every single turn. Everything you go to do, you see something like, I don't know, moving a rock for a puzzle, but the rock has a personality and moves and resists against what you're trying to do, and you have a whole conversation about it. And like, if you get into a fight, a standard sort of turn-based fight in an RPG sort of setting, you've got your normal attack, and you can flee, or boost your health and things like that, or you can get into a conversation, and you can maybe try and make them laugh, or tickle them or something. It's ridiculous, and it doesn't.
Is this like Skyrim made by somebody who was doing LSD at the time?
Possibly. It's.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into any more detail than that. And I would recommend anyone who's got Game Pass, because it's on Game Pass. It's about 270 megabytes, the file, so it takes you about 20 seconds to download.
Does it make a like quickly lines when it loads?
It doesn't,
No?
and I think it's poorer for it. But I would recommend just spending an hour on it, and you can kind of, from that, you can already see what's kind of a bit special about it. So, but I won't go any more about that. But people at home, try it, give it a go. It's on Game Pass. The other thing I've been playing is, and that's literally today, I decided to download it and have a go, is Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Now, I've always kind of looked at these Zombie Army games, thought they look quite fun, and this one's just come onto Game Pass this week, and it's Series X and Series S compatible, so it's enhanced, and I thought, yeah, let's give it a go, and I've probably stuck a couple of hours into it today. By God, that game is fun. It is really good fun. So it's that kind of, it's obviously a zombie game set in World War II, but the zombies are not those kind of really intense, stressful zombies that scream and run at you at about 100 miles an hour, and you've never got enough ammo to take them down. They're much, much slower. And there's different types of zombies, and you can take them out in different ways, getting different kind of combos with score bonuses, and it's really good fun. I've played it on my toddler.
They're not like the zombies in Killing Floor 2 then.
No. It is the anti-Killing Floor 2. That is insane. That game.
That game that'll give you a heart attack.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend giving that a go. Again, it's on Game Pass. Cracking little titles of her. Like I said, I only played a couple of hours, so I can't give it a full review yet, but what I've played so far, really, really good fun, so worth a punt. And then TV-wise, funny enough, much the same, I watched the latest season of Top Gear, but I won't mention that because obviously you're watching back through them all. So, the latest season was mighty good, very funny, very good. And I've also started
Where's that available, Craig?
On BBC iPlayer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I have,
watching that.
just for reference, I watched the latest series first with Freddie and Paddy and Chris, and I agree, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a quality one. Yeah, they've got to that point now where it's as enjoyable as when it used to be Clarkson, Hammond and May, I think, because they've gelled well enough together, and they're like three mates having a laugh, and that's always what was fun about it. And I think they've really got a great chemistry going, which is brilliant. So
they've all got their own personality. Like Paddy will always do something completely idiotic.
Yeah.
And that makes me smile every time. No matter what it is, he's done something ludicrous.
And Freddie's
like
a
ice
lunatic.
cream truck season 4. Yeah.
Freddie's a lunatic with no fear and always crashes everything. And Chris is the car geek who can really drive very well. So anyway, so the other thing I've been watching is a series, again, it's quite old and I never touched it when it first came out, is New Girl. Now, it's one of those TV shows that when I first saw it, it was kind of, single 20-something girl moves in a loft in LA with 3 guys, unlucky in love. That I thought, that sounds like Sex in the City or something. That's totally not my kind of thing. So I never even gave it a second look. One of my colleagues at work had mentioned, and she has a very similar taste in comedy stuff to me, and she said, no, you've got to give it a try. It's so much more than that. And I think I'm into season 2 now, and it is... If you haven't watched it, give it a go, because it is one of the funniest comedies I've seen out there. It's kind of like Friends meets It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is crazy, wacky, but not quite as sick and obscene sometimes as Always Sunny is.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like a PG version of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Charlie Gets Cancer is probably the
that's brutal. That is
the most shocking but funniest episode of any series ever.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to this week, I'd say, really. So yeah, but thanks for sharing. So on to the news. So I'm going to hand you over to Alan first with our first story of the week, which we touched upon a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so we've all been playing some Outriders this week, and whilst we've all been saying it's been a lot of fun, and we have had a huge blast with it, and it is a really fun game, it hasn't been without its issues. Over the weekend, when did it come out? It was Thursday, wasn't it? Last week? Thursday last week, yeah. And I think generally for the first 2 or 3 days, if you were going to play Outriders, you were in for no luck because the servers were constantly down. It was, and all fairness to People Can Fly, that they were really vocal. They were very visible when they were communicating with their target audience and sort of saying what was going on. And they were really apologetic and they were trying to resolve the issues, but they just had problem after problem after problem. And I think for the first night, I remember it's you and me, Craig, wasn't it? We just gave up. We managed to get in for about 10 minutes, and then we had to drop out. So it was a tough launch for them. I think the first 2 or 3 days particularly bad, and as an apology to their fan base, to their customer base, People Can Fly are giving a freebie to everybody that's been playing and have purchased the game, and that is a free legendary. As to what that free legendary is, we'll have to wait and see. Might be completely useless, but it's a nice touch. They seem, from a PR point of view, I have to say, People Can Fly are ticking all the boxes. Yes, they've had a rough launch. Yet they have got a good, really, really good game. Not a perfect game, but a really good, fun game. And yeah, there are lots of people who are really enjoying it and really wanting to play it. And they're very aware that a lot of people were very upset over the weekend, because they couldn't play it, and they're just trying to make amends. And I got to applaud them for that. So I don't know when that's going to drop. Do you know when that's going to drop, Phil?
I believe, sorry, just to cut in there, because I believe I saw a tweet. It's pretty much going live now, I think. So when we get off here,
right? So I'm off to turn on the Xbox and get my legendary.
They did say there might be a bit of a delay, I believe, in the rollout of the prizes. Yeah.
So it's The other funny thing that we've got with Outriders and that package that's being dropped, obviously having that legendary gun or piece of armor or something. There's also an emote, which is the frustrated emote, and ironically enough, which is bugged and doesn't work.
I'll be honest, boys, if it's not a shotgun called the One Pump Chump, like the one from Borderlands, then I'm just going to be disappointed.
I want that shotgun, definitely. I want the One Pump Chump.
Yeah, or a chest armor called the, what was it, Butt Stallion from Borderlands 2?
Yeah. Happy memories. But yeah, so good from People Can Fly. Thank you for that. They don't need to do that. I think the people that have played the game and are playing the game, now that there seem to have most of the issues, there's still a bit of dropout now and again, but it's so minor. And if you're playing on a Series X like we are, to be honest, it takes about 20-30 seconds to get back into the game. So it's really just a minor inconvenience. I think they'll get these other niggles sorted.
Yeah, it's quite indicative as to how fun the game is, because you sort of go, it's frustrating, but it's not to the point I'm finding it where I just want to turn it off and not put it back on again. I'm happy to jump back in because I want to go and play that again.
Yeah.
I think there is some more sinister bugs that are still trapped within the game. I've seen a bug somewhere that people are getting that completely wipes all of the gear that they've collected, which has got to be pretty sucky, if you get that one. And we are still getting kicked to dash quite frequently. So there's got to be some kind of coding errors in there somewhere. Give them a bit of time.
Especially when I'm the party leader and I leave without telling anybody.
Yeah, and it kicks us off. As Phil's just tagged up all of his gear he's about to sell. Do it all again.
Oh, that was
sorry about that,
5 minutes worth of tagging going on there. Like I was all set just to go sell all my junk, and then Alan's like, "Bye, guys."
Yeah.
But to be fair, you do seem to spend a lot of time quietly jumping into your menu when we should be going to the next area. And we're all like, Phil. Oh, sorry. I was just messing around with the gear. Sorry.
I believe it's called a Jules,
Yeah.
and we'll leave it at that.
It's called a Jules. Yes.
One thing I would recommend is just to recommend something else on the internet, which is there's a reviewer called Skill Up. I'm sure most people have heard him before. He's just dropped his review of Outriders, and I think it's 45 minutes long. It's a huge review, and he goes into such detail on it. I've watched a bit of it so far, but I think the main kind of crux of it, and you can tell that from the title, really, is that he loves the game, and it is really the kind of anti-looter shooter game. You know, everything that's gone wrong in most of the looter shooters, they seem to have righted and made good. But because of all the bugs and problems, he's at that kind of point where I really want to recommend it to people, but I can't because it's so broken. But when it's fixed, you got to play this game. He's really rating it. So worth going and checking that out. But yeah. Sweet. All right. Well, that's Outriders. So next thing on the menu we've got is next thing on the menu. That turns in quite nicely to what I was saying here. Didn't mean to do that.
Good work, Craig.
There was a tweet out from Xbox, and it was a kind of one of those mock emails that were copying people in. It was Xbox copying in Spotify and McDonald's. So, and they're sort of just saying, hey guys, when we meeting up kind of thing. So it's kind of a case of what's going on there, really. So we've all been kind of speculating a little bit. Now, my thoughts are it's probably going to be like a 3 months worth of Spotify, but what are we going to do with McDonald's? Are we going to get free Big Macs with Game Pass? What's going on? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's
good to me.
I know. I'm the only person.
I can't eat them either. That's why we got you to do this news segment, because the rest of us can't eat Big Macs because it will just kill us.
Give me your codes, boys. Give me your codes. Won't be good for the waistline, but give me the codes.
Just for reference, if you ever need to take out the entire Unnamed Games podcast, 3 of the 4 of us can be destroyed with a Big Mac. So you've only got to deal with Craig then.
So I mean, that's the case. What is it going to be? Something like that, or is it going to be the other way around? Are we going to be seeing some kind of in McDonald's stores? They're going to be giving away Game Pass with meals or something like that.
Well, say like the Monopoly game. Maybe when you buy a Big Mac meal, you get a little token and you have to match them up, so you get like some special items in a game, or even an extra additional game that's on Game Pass.
Could be, it could be,
or extra special loot.
Yeah,
New skins
or Szechuan dip.
The infamous Szechuan dip.
Sorry, is the dip for the game, or we're supposed to get the dip?
Yeah, maybe you have to get a certain achievement on a game, and maybe on a game on Xbox. When you get the achievement, you can. It then says Szechuan, and you can go to McDonald's and get a special Szechuan dip.
Nice. So who knows?
Possibilities.
I think it's a watch this space with that, really. But talking of Szechuan, I've heard that is a very, very popular dip in some countries, sort of more eastern countries. I believe it's quite popular in India, as long as something else is quite popular in India, isn't it, Alan?
Well, apparently Xbox. So there was an article. Thank you. Fantastic segue. I'm not sure. I think Szechuan dip is a little bit further east than that.
It 100% is, but it was a tenuous segue. But
but we'll let you get away with it. It was fine. It was a good effort either way.
Or we've offended a large portion of people in the world.
So this you've just offended the whole country. I'm not going to say what country, because I'm not sure what country it did come from. I don't know. But anyway, so IGN had an article out this week, which was basically talking about India and their sales and the impact that Microsoft is having over there. There's a massive market in India. We've got 365 million online gamers in India. And predictions are that's going to go up to 510 million by 2022. So it's a massive market share.
5 times the UK population? 6 times the UK population?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Alone,
exactly. So obviously, this is a massive market. This is a market that people want to get into. And currently, Sony have pretty much 90% of that market share. They've pretty much got that battened down. The hatches are battened in India for Sony. However, in March, according to sources and IGN's news article, Microsoft outsold the Series S was the best-selling console in India, with the Series X coming in second place and the PS5 third. However, there is a caveat to this, and I have to say there are a couple of reasons why this might be so. So the first one could be that there is a boost in sales because of the recent Bethesda acquisition, and those titles dropped at the end of basically February, beginning of March, and that could very well have had an impact on sales. But it might have enticed more buyers who were looking at maybe a PlayStation to go, you know what, actually that Xbox is looking like a good deal right now. Might have to go and buy that bad boy. However, I tend to feel that the bigger reason for this happening could very well be down to the fact there aren't actually any PlayStation 5s in India. There is a stock issue. And in fact, some retailers who were spoken to were actually saying, yes, what we're doing is people coming in saying, look for PlayStation 5. Like, well, we don't have any PlayStation 5s. But what we do have is this absolutely awesome Xbox Series S. And it's cheaper than the PlayStation. And you get the Game Pass. And you get all this stuff. And they're going, oh, you're right, actually. That's really nice. I'll have one of them bad boys. That, quite frankly, is more likely the reason. I don't think there's going to be a sudden surge or uptake. But it is definitely a good thing for Microsoft. If they're selling more consoles, they're getting more market share, and they're making more of an inroad into that you know, at the moment seems to be majority Sony.
So what you're saying is that Microsoft bought Bethesda to help sell more consoles, and they made a cheaper console to help sell more consoles, and it worked.
With the caveat that their competition didn't actually have any consoles to sell.
Yeah, but there's a shortage of PS5s everywhere, isn't it? It's not just. I mean, I'm guessing it's worse there, but I mean, you know, in the UK, you can't get one for love nor money.
At the moment, the bottom line is it's hard to tell what the reason for that uptake in Microsoft in Xbox sales is. You know, you've got these two reasons, and yes, definitely the Bethesda acquisition and the 20 titles drop in on Game Pass, and all the other acquisitions for Game Pass. That's got to have an impact. I mean, any gamer worth his salt, you know, you're looking at your options, and you look at the Series S with all of those games as an option, and you're looking at the PlayStation with what they've got to offer. And you, to be honest, unless you've got money to throw down the drain, I'm going for the Series S every time. Because that is the far better option, both cost and what they're offering. But that is really offset by the fact that you can't buy the PlayStation. So if you really want to buy a console, you know.
I don't think that we're truly going to see a true reflection of what kind of a dent the Series X and S has made in, let's be honest, the PlayStation lion's share of the market. You know, they are the number one console. It's no doubt that Phil lost his camera there. So yeah, how much of a dent we see that has made into it until all, like you say, the stocks are completely leveled, and you know there's no chip shortages on the PlayStation chips, and everything's flooded into the market properly. Then we can really get a good understanding for it.
And there are other things tying into that, and that is one of the other things we're going to be talking a bit further along in the news, such as, you know, obviously these big corporations and what their game plan is for the future. You know, so that's something that we'll be talking about in a bit. So you know, there's lots of things that are impacting this, and as you say, I think we've got to wait a little bit longer, just because the sales of Xboxes have shot up, you know, quite a bit in March in India doesn't necessarily mean Microsoft has suddenly taken over the country. It's a bit too early to tell. So.
No, that's definitely right. I think, and also, you know, we've still, this very early in the life cycle, we've not had a huge amount of the kind of exclusive big titles for the next generation consoles come out. There's been very few for either platform, but we have had some news recently, haven't we, Phil, about one of our Xbox exclusives coming soon. There's a bit of a tease of news on the horizon, isn't there? If you want to go through that.
Oh, I like the way you slipped the word horizon in there. Not directly relevant, but kind of, though. Very smooth. Yes, Turn 10 and Forza Motorsport 8. So they have been extensively playtesting the game, according to an article I read. And things are looking very good. And we saw a very, very pretty video of it last year that we all went ooh and started drooling at.
That just looks ridiculously realistic. It's just phenomenal.
You know it's going to be good when they're modelling the dirt and how it appears on the car to make it accurate.
Yeah.
So yes, basically they are going to be opening up the playtest to the general public. So you do have to go and register for it, and then you basically get accepted in as like a beta tester, I suppose, for lack of a better phrase. But then you're going to get access to it, and you're going to be able to race around a couple of tracks, and obviously your data will be fed back to Turn 10. They will in turn use that to improve the game. So if you're a fan of Forza, like, well, all of us, because we love Forza and we love racing games and they're all pretty, you need to go and sign up. What we'll do is there is a link for it, so I'm sure we can probably drop it in the description just to make it easy for people to find it. So yes.
Have you signed up, Phil?
Have I signed up? who do you think? Of course I've signed up. Of course I have. I was like,
I have not signed up.
No, me neither. Yeah.
I have not signed up because, to be perfectly honest, I'm more of an Horizon chap myself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I look at like Forza Motorsport, and I am continuously impressed by how they keep making it look better and more realistic. It is phenomenal. And according to the videos that I've watched, they've actually built this. They've started again from scratch on this one. They've gone back to the drawing board, and they've built everything from the ground up for this one. Previously, they've taken what they did before and they've improved on it. This one is brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Everything, as you said about the dirt. But, however, when it comes to racing cars, I'm not really that good. So, after a while, I'll do a few races on the easy, and I'll do a few laps, and I'll feel good, and I'll start to win a couple, and then I'll lose. And then I'll be like, not interested anymore. Whereas Horizon keeps me interested anymore because it's got variety.
Yeah. So I think Phil's getting hassled by his roommate there.
bad timing. I did put it on mute, so maybe
that's fine. We didn't hear him, I don't think so.
One of the things I was going to drop in on the Forza kind of point over there is, they've put a lot of the background work in terms of laser scanning the cars and the tracks and the details of the environments and things. So they're building a new game engine, but actually all the assets that they have can go straight into that. It's building the new layers on top of it. So I'm very excited to see it. And the great thing with that is because it's all like laser scanned to that such finite detail, all they're doing is just adding more and more content to it, like more cars as new cars come out, but they already have the stuff for the older cars, so they can just put them in, and then they just got to work on the upgrades for it.
How many cars are there? There can't be any more cars left in the world, Phil.
There's a new Ferrari every year. There's a new Lamborghini every year. There's a new Ford Focus every other year.
Yeah.
Come on, there's always more cars.
Yeah, always more cars. Well, yeah, it's good stuff. And I think, I'm definitely going to get signed up on it. And maybe, I don't know, might get access through the Alpha Ring on the Insiders, which obviously I'm part of on Xbox. So fingers crossed. But I think I'll sign up anyway, just in case. I don't want to miss out. But I think it's getting around to that time now for the summer, getting around to June, where normally we'd have E3. And quite nicely, we've actually had a tweet come out from E3 saying they are doing a digital event this year from the 12th to the 15th. Xbox are going to be in attendance, and Ubisoft and a lot of you big players there. No Sony again this year, but at least we've got some of the big ones there. So maybe we'll see a bit of Forza 8 there. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, but we are all particularly excited here because normally every year we all book ourselves off a long weekend, and we all kind of hang out and we do a whole weekend of it. So we'll have barbecues because it's in the summer, pop down the pub, have a few beers, and we'll all kind of come back to mine or to Phil's or something, and play a load of couch co-op games and get some pizzas and things, and then we'll all sit and watch all of the conferences together and just kind of enjoy the games.
It's couscous and guacamole this year.
Exactly,
but
yeah. Trying to be a bit more healthy this year.
And gluten-free beer, as it turns out.
Yeah. So I think a lot has changed since the last time we managed to do it, the 2 years ago. So hopefully we'll be able to, lockdown will be lifted and we'll be able to do something. And actually our plan this year is we're going to try and do something live, some kind of live stream and kind of record our reactions to things that are happening. Haven't completely finalised what the details of that are, so I won't go any further than that, but we are planning to do something a little, I don't want to say special, a little different, and do something from there. So watch this space.
You can see us in our natural environment.
Yeah, natural habitats. See Alan crawling through the long grass. That's a new strategy game.
What we'll do is we'll just each put on a GoPro, and then we'll start through the gluten-free beer and vodka and bits, and we'll just see where the world takes us.
Well, that's a good idea. We'll literally wear a GoPro the entire weekend in the car, off to the pub.
And then you can edit it all over the Sunday, Craig, yeah?
Brilliant idea. Maybe we'll do that.
We'll just time lapse it. It's fine. We just speed up the footage. It's just Craig running at 100 miles an hour like this.
I think it's a perfect time for Phil to take over his editing duties. I think. Yeah, we'll do that.
Look at the time.
But anyway, that's got me having a little bit of a think, actually, because usually when E3's coming up, we all have something that we're really excited to see. And, I'm just going to get mine out of the way first because we all know what it's going to be. I mean, I'm hoping we're going to have some Halo Infinite, the new Halo Infinite trailer, and we can see what they've been working on all this week. And
Let's hope it's better received than the last one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still really like the last one. I mean, again, yes, it didn't have the most pretty graphics in the world, but I was like, it's Halo, a new Halo. I want to play it. But if they made it look a bit better and whatever they need to do to it, that's fine. But I just hope they don't delay it again. And I hope we see it in June and it's going to come out sort of that maybe October, November time. But that's my one. So, Mr. Phil, give us a game. What would you like to see at this year's E3?
Okay, I really, really wanted to see Horizon Forbidden West, but as you've just pointed out, Sony will not be attending.
Well, saying that, they may have their own... They're not part of E3, but they may have themselves an event around that time, so we still may see something.
Well, basically, I'd like to see that, but if I'm just going based on what I know we're going to... potentially who's going to be there, I think it's going to have to be that new Perfect Dark game.
Ooh.
Very excited. Yeah. I'm thinking, Splinter Cell... quadruple A, because we haven't had a Splinter Cell and apparently Ubisoft don't like us enough to ever give us another one at the moment. Yeah. So I'm going to have to get my stealth action kicks where they are, and there doesn't seem to be another Metal Gear Solid on the horizon at the moment either. So it's going to have to be Perfect Dark. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do.
I think it's too early still. I don't think you're going to see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's about what I want to see, not what I think we will.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I want to see that. Yeah. Whether we'll actually see it, probably not.
Don't get your hopes up. But yeah, great if we do, but I think it's still a bit too early. But yeah, no, that's a good shout, Phil. Good shout. Mr. Allen, what do you want to see?
Well, I mean, when you said that, I was just suddenly thinking, well, maybe we'll see something about Beyond Good and Evil 2, because that's been a good couple of years.
Yes.
And we haven't heard a whisper from those boys. So that's a possibility, hopefully seeing some gameplay. But that's not what I was going to say. So I've gone through the whole list in my mind, and my first thought was Dying Light 2, because of course we had this whole conversation previously, and I'm thinking it'd be nice. And I thought, but what I'm really, really hankering for at the moment, and what I'm really, really looking forward to is an RPG. I need a good, solid RPG, and I'm thinking, okay, so we're talking Skyrim 6, and I thought, no, because I still haven't forgiven Todd Howard for Fallout 76. I still haven't forgiven them for the debacle that followed all of that. I still don't trust Bethesda, even though they've been picked up by Microsoft. So what I'm actually hoping to see, and it's probably too early, is some Avowed.
Yeah,
Obsidian have been knocking it out of the park in the past couple of years. The quality of their games, the dedication they put in is phenomenal. They came from a blooming, Pillars of Eternity, which was a crowd-funded game. And these guys have just gone from strength to strength. And that trailer dropped, I nearly wet myself, because it looks it's literally only about 30 seconds, but it is everything. When you pan down to the character view, and they sort of make that rune in the air, and their sword lights up, and then the tunnel lights up in front of them, and you're just like, I want to play that game. I want to play that game so bad. Yeah. So I am seriously hoping for some Avowed news, and hopefully a game trailer.
Again, I reckon,
for you, buddy.
Yeah, I reckon we're probably too early on that one again. And,
probably,
but hopefully again. But I'm going to go around and do something else then as well, because obviously you guys have said, going more on what I'd love to see there, but I don't think will be there, is I'd love to see something for the new Fable. That's what I'd really like to see.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's too early. I mean, we got that teaser CGI. Maybe we get something tech demo-y. I mean, I think they're still building the team, or I've only just fully built the team up. So I think it's too early again, but I'm really excited to see something around that. But so yeah, I think, we all better temper our expectation on those ones, because I don't think any of them are going to probably come in apart from Halo, but who knows?
The one we might see, which is one that's been talked about a lot, we might see Starfield. We might actually see Starfield. That's got to be close.
Yeah.
Bethesda have got to be about time to start pushing some information out about that. And E3 will be the perfect vehicle for that. Yeah.
They usually drop their games, like your Fallout. I'm sure Fallout 4, it came out like 3 months after they announced it, didn't it?
Yeah. You remember, actually. You remember us, we were all, I think, weren't we? And they were talking about, was it Fallout Shelter on the tablet? We're going, and then literally after that, Todd Howard comes out and goes, oh, by the way, here's Fallout 4, and it's out in about 2 months.
Yeah. It's like that. Whoa!
Here's the thing, though, boys. This is Bethesda, and now they're with Microsoft. So they then have to pass the Microsoft quality seal of approval. So what they're 2 months out, realistically for Microsoft quality of approval, is like 6 to 9 months away.
Well, but you say that, like Microsoft and Phil has been very vocal about these studios, and particularly Bethesda, operates on its own. It's part of the Xbox family, but they don't interfere. They help and assist, and Xbox merge into Bethesda's way of working rather than the other way around. So I don't think you'll see a huge amount of change in the way that they pump games out. Hopefully, they spend a little bit more time, put a little bit of money
Just
into Q&A.
bugs.
Yeah,
Hopefully less
exactly.
bugs.
Yeah.
Use that Microsoft Q&A process.
Because let's be honest, you're never going to get a Bethesda RPG release which doesn't have bugs all over the place. That's almost expected, but a few less would be nice.
Sign. It's the card they leave at the door when they drop the parcel off. By the way, there'll be a bug in there somewhere.
You see the reviews now. This is an 8 out of 10. I would have given it a 9.5. However, I haven't found any bugs yet, so it's not a true Bethesda game.
Not a Bethesda game.
That's definitely what happened.
Totally, mate, totally. But yes, I mean, well, there's been a lot of rumours around stuff for E3, and obviously we've got loads of stuff that we think is going to come out, because usually we get a lot of the yearly or bi-yearly titles that will come out, and there's been a few rumours hovering around a pretty big franchise out there called Battlefield, hasn't there, Phil?
Yes, let's talk about a dirty little rumour that's floating around. And that rumour is that Battlefield 6 may come out on Xbox Game Pass. Xbox have got EA Access merged in with their Game Pass now. It doesn't get you all the brand new games immediately at launch, but by the sounds of it, they are working on a deal where we're potentially looking at that. And they have said that there will be a AAA first-person shooter game of some description that will launch directly into Game Pass. So people are kind of putting the 2 and 2 together. They're going with the EA Access. They're going with the Battlefield 6 coming out soon, it being a first-person shooter, and they're going Game Pass.
It'll be a press conference next week. Phil Spencer announced they've just bought Treyarch.
Just one part of Activision.
No. They won't buy Treyarch. They'll buy Sledgehammer, won't they? That's the one that's not books at the moment. Just gone to a support studio, hasn't it?
Activision just cut them loose.
I mean, it's a really nice rumor, and I'm kind of on the fence a bit on this one, because I really loved the Battlefield games going through historically, Battlefield Bad Company, and then Battlefield, and then it was reinvented, and Battlefield 1, and we played quite a bit of that, didn't we? And that was great fun, some fantastic, amazing set scenes that you just don't get in Call of Duty, like the train going through the level and stuff like that. Some great fun. It feels like mass battles, which is a feeling you don't get in Call of Duty, in my opinion. Maybe in the newer versions, I don't know, with the arena type games, but the last one. But was it Battlefield 5? It was a little underwhelming. I'm not going to lie. It just didn't feel like they just managed to hit those boxes. They just didn't quite get it right. And we played the demo, and then I even played some of the original game when it came out. I can't remember how I managed it, but I did. And it was just so underwhelming. It was kind of like, I'm not enjoying this, and I stopped playing it. I don't know, it just lost that luster that even Battlefield 1 had. So if it's true, that's great, because new titles and new IPs on Game Pass, we've said it many times before, that's fantastic. Love it. That gets more people into Game Pass and into the Microsoft family. Always up for that. But being excited about Battlefield 6 personally, I'm a bit reserved at the minute.
I think.
Go on, Phil.
I was going to say, I think there's a strong possibility it could happen, because, I mean, a lot of the publishers are moving to these kind of like cash shops within their games that sell almost like the skins and the consumables and bits. Obviously, EA has a horrendous reputation for monetizing their games, and if they were to put the game into Game Pass, but because it's in Game Pass, that then gets people spending money in that cash shop every week. That's something that EA dearly wants to get involved in. They want their Destiny games as a service. They want people buying their Destiny Silver and buying their skins for £8 a pop. And Battlefield, I think, could be a really good vehicle for that, particularly if the bar to entry is effectively free. And I could see potentially maybe it goes into PlayStation Now at some point as well. Probably not initially, because obviously they've got that deal with Game Pass at the moment, but maybe further down the line or something.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about getting out to the masses, getting more people playing it, like how a free-to-play game works. They had great successes with Apex Legends, and I mean that game has made them bucket loads of cash again from all of the skins and things you can buy within the shop. A complete free-to-play game. They still potentially get all the sales from, let's say it comes to Game Pass for console and not PC, for example. They may get all the Steam sales still, all the Sony sales, but then it's jumping into Xbox and just flooded into that. Is it 10 million subscribers or 12 million subscribers they've got on Game Pass? It's instantly hitting out to the masses of people, and it's a top tier game. Everybody's going to jump in and play that, and the more people you've got playing, the more vibrant the servers are, the better community, the more the more videos that come up online, the more talk there is on social media, and it's potentially EA are always kind of ready to test the new thing out to make more money. So maybe this is a good way for them.
They love the money.
They love the money.
They love the money.
Yeah. Plus, I imagine there's a pretty healthy kickback from Microsoft if you put in Battlefield 6 onto Game Pass. That is a big title.
You've got to think the amount of money they would invest into a first-party title of that caliber to put onto their Game Pass. And actually, okay, we can have that included. Yes, it's not exclusive, but it is a first-party title on our service. They're going to be chucking tens of millions to that thing, to get it on there. I can totally see it. But well, watch your space. We'll find out.
If it's free on Game Pass, despite what I said, I'm downloading that bad boy. Yeah, because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, and I have also heard rumours of that it's going back to Modern Warfare, so a bit like Battlefield 4. Which
it does need a bit of a refresh. I think that was my other problem with Battlefield 5 is they had Battlefield 1 that was basically the same thing.
Yeah. Battlefield 1 was great. It was a change from all this modern shooters. I thought there's no way with World War I weapons it's going to work, and they made it work. It was great fun. There was great variety in the weapons and in the vehicles and everything. Riding horses was horrendous fun if I could only manage for half a second before getting bloody shot. But then they tried to do it a second time, and it's like, no, you kind of caught it in the first one. You tried, and that, as you say, I think you're right, Phil. It failed. That's why the second one, number 5, failed. Going back to the more modern warfare, that's a really good move, and I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, you also had was it Call of Duty was doing its World War II version as well at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, World War II.
Yeah, so it was like it was almost like Battlefield 1, Call of Duty, and then Battlefield 5 all set in the same era. And I think that's the other reason we're all a bit tired of that same era, and it needs to.
You get it everywhere, don't you? You get that in movies as well. You get a disaster movie come out from one studio, and there's another one almost identical from another. A movie. What was the one? So it was Armageddon,
Volcano,
and Impact, and
Volcano, Dante's Peak.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They get trends of these movies come out, and it's just what the hot thing is that year, I guess. When is it? But moving on a little bit from the news and kind of finishing it off, but moving nicely, really about talking Game Pass and the way that the industry's moving and big players in the industry how making money going forward. There's been some stuff going on around Sony and a bit of a report, hasn't there, Phil, from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, and it's quite a good discussion point that we can go through. Did you want to kind of tee us up with that?
So basically, I mean, the title is Sony's obsession with blockbusters is stirring unrest within the PlayStation empire.
I thought blockbusters had gone out of business.
Yeah, very evocative title there. I mean, the long and short of the article is essentially Sony owns, I think it's something like 30 studios across the globe.
It's 12, I think, isn't it?
12.
Wait, no, I'm looking at number of developers. Yeah, sorry. 12 studios across the globe. And the majority, obviously, of their developers that we see, like your Naughty Dogs and your Santa Monica's that do your God of War and your Horizon Zero Dawns. They're all really big kind of top-tier franchises. Insomniac doing Spider-Man, again, another top-tier franchise. And then they also have a lot of smaller support studios. And the thing that's kind of teed up this article is there was a support studio that used to basically do backup like artwork and world building and game design. And it was headed up by a guy called Michael Mumbauer. Hopefully I didn't slaughter that pronunciation too badly. Essentially, they were the visual arts service of the Sony arm in entertainment. And they've been doing like the backup for Spider-Man, and they've done bits on The Last of Us. And they basically wanted to cut their teeth on doing their own game because they've been doing really good work with that. And Sony kind of went, yeah, go on, off you go, sort of build your little team, and what we'll do is we'll get you to basically remaster an existing game. The idea being that, a lot of the work is already done. You're basically adding that extra level of spit and polish. And they were working on a remaster of The Last of Us, but for PlayStation 5.
A remaster of a remaster.
Sorry, a remaster of the remaster, so they can bring it up to scratch on the PlayStation 5. Then they do the upgrade and vajazzle for the Last of Us 2, and then they bundle the two together, essentially. But very recently, it basically came out that the studio that was doing the remaster, Sony decided they weren't too keen on having these little smaller studios doing it, so the Last of Us remaster basically got pushed back to Naughty Dog after that team had done the work on it, and they basically kind of cut bait with that team, essentially. They wanted them to go back into being a support studio. A lot of the staff then, or talent, sort of got absorbed into the other studios, and the kind of head of it, like Michael Mumbauer and his kind of head development team, kind of left, essentially, because of a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. And it's basically framed around like Sony seem to be almost dissolving a lot of these smaller studios, and they're basically purely aiming at trying to get these big AAA and quadruple A titles, and that's going to be their kind of selling point, which is very counter to the Microsoft. Let's get lots of little indie developers, let's buy them in there, let's get them doing that. It's kind of almost the complete opposite side to the approach.
Yeah, I think it's the whole PlayStation ethos and the way they're doing things. It's been incredibly successful for them through the PlayStation 4 era. They had hit after hit after hit after hit of first-party AAA games. But it seems very much moving forward that they're trying to invest a lot in remasters and re-releases of old successful games, because it's a safe bet to invest less money into a game that they know is going to sell well. And there was a part of that report, they were talking about Days Gone and how Days Gone... Sorry?
Red Bend, I believe, is the developer.
Yeah. Sony Bend, yeah. They produced Days Gone. It was commercially successful. A lot of people liked it, and after a few updates, it was a good game. But critically, I think it scored around the kind of 7.5, 8 kind of level. And it seems that Sony very much have said, you know what, no, you're not doing a Days Gone 2, which is what they wanted to do, because it hadn't been critically received well enough. So they want to have every single game they've got here as a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I think that's quite sad, the fact that they're forcing these studios into creating certain types of games rather than, like you said, Microsoft absorbing these studios, but actually converting the way they work into the way that the studios work. So it's this kind of harmonious synergy. Whereas Sony are very much, it's almost like an iron hand coming in saying, you will do it this way, and they're sort of dictating where everyone's going, aren't they?
So are you saying there won't be a Godfall 2?
Godfall 2. I mean, that wasn't first party, but I definitely don't think there will, because that was horrendous, that game.
Yeah.
No, caveat, I've never played it. From everything I've read, it was horrendous.
Yeah, everything I've read, it was pretty bad. I mean, I'm no expert. I'm certainly not on the board of directors of either Microsoft or Sony, and I'm certainly no expert when it comes to business. But I have to say, this article, if anything, really does show the disparity between as you said, the way that Microsoft are thinking about making their target audience, their customer base larger, and the way Sony are hoping to retain their top position as the market leader. You look at, as you said, with Sony, it's about what we need is our next, massive blockbuster. And we're going to stick with our big top developers we know that have delivered already, because we don't want failure. We don't want to choose something that's just mediocre. And as you said, whereas on the other side, Microsoft are like, we're going to get all these indie developers and these smaller developers, these middle range developers, and we're going to throw money at them. We're going to say, go away and go and do something fantastic. And you get games like Senua's Sacrifice. That
was actually, I was going to be on my point that brings up, actually, is if Sony are taking this approach and basically just getting rid of all these, they're not going to get another. So we're going to get Hellblade 2, which is going to be amazing by all accounts. I mean, we saw the CG videos, they look banging, or saw the in-game videos. And, Ninja Theory, they're a smaller studio. They don't have the money. They're the kind of studios that Sony seems to be cutting loose. And the second point I wanted to make about that is, so do you remember when there was obviously the big news about Bethesda being acquired, or ZeniMax being acquired for $7.5 billion? And basically, there was a little kind of tweet I seem to recall where basically Sony had said, yeah, well, we're not like Microsoft. We don't just go in and buy a big studio to improve our catalog. What we've done is we've spent time, investing money in developing these studios. And the reason we have these quadruple A games is because we've invested and built these studios up. And now they're turning around and saying, well, we're not going to build up any more of these small studios anymore. We're not going to get them to do something different to get a quadruple A game because we don't know if it's going to make us money. So we're not going to take the risk. So their whole plan and ethos that scored them so well in the PlayStation 4 era by investing and building up these studios, they're now not going to do that.
I think one of the reasons I read as well, and again, me if I don't quite this, but is that there seems to have been a lot of change in and very high levels of management at Sony as far as the PlayStation and the developers side arm of things. You look at Microsoft and you've got Phil Spencer. He's been helming that boat for how many years? For a decade or more. He is at the helm and he is pointing in the right direction. And yet it seems to me at Sony, they seem to have a new top guy every 1 or 2 or 3 years. And then they come in and they're going, well, this isn't working. We're going to do this. And then they shake everything up. And, I think, was it the PlayStation, 2 was phenomenal. PlayStation 3, yeah. PlayStation 4, phenomenal. And now are we going to see the same with PlayStation 5? Are we going to see that same PlayStation 3 effect? Because they're not going to be bringing out all those massive titles. They're just going to do remasters and remakes.
It's the curse, isn't it? It's the curse of the alternate console almost. It's like the to and fro, and it seems like maybe it's not going to go this way this time, but maybe it's a little bit more under the surface and we're not seeing it because there's not the availability of consoles. Could it be that the thing that really drives the industry forward this time is that whole kind of subscription level service, with how Game Pass is moving, and what Microsoft are doing within the industry is actually the way that it's going to move forward, and Microsoft are suitably ahead of the curve, not massively ahead of the curve like Kinect and stuff, and always digital online. But potentially it's something underlying there is still going to maybe have a bit of a ripple within the industry, and we start to see those two kind of platforms level out in terms of sales again. Phil's just been scolded by the sun.
Ghetto lighting there.
It's definitely going to be interesting, I think, for the next couple of years to see which kind of game plan is going to pay off for which company.
Yeah.
Obviously we're more a little bit slanted towards Microsoft as we're all Xbox boys, but I think it's just going to be interesting to see if Sony's plan going forward with sticking with this is going to pay off for them or not.
Yeah, I think just to clarify, it's actually funny you should mention that with how long Phil Spencer's been with Xbox. He's actually been the head of Xbox. He's just had his 7th anniversary.
There you go.
A couple of days ago, I think it was, or last week. So there's 7 years he's been running Xbox, but he was running Xbox Game Studios before that, wasn't he? He was the head of the games division.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's certainly
done his tour of duty in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the guy's a true gamer, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he first took over at Xbox. He said he was going to listen. He said he was going to make it all about the games. He was going to right the wrongs, and he's doing all those things. He genuinely he actually listens to the big podcasts that are out there, like your Podcast Unlocked and people like that, and your GameSpot podcasts and stuff. And he actually listens to those and listens to the feedback of people who are. Yes, they're still games journalists, but these guys have got their finger on the pulse more. They're still true gamers, and they don't take.
And sometimes he actually comes on. So if you're listening, Phil, you'll be more than welcome. Welcome to come on.
If you manage to somehow stumble across the Unnamed Games podcast with its 50 subscribers or whatever, please we'll come along. Yeah.
If you're not busy on your Saturday evening off, we'll have you over. It's fine.
That would be quality, wouldn't it? But he's totally doing what he said, and it's that whole thing about listening and understanding the industry from its grassroots. I was playing Destiny 2 the other week, and I've got Phil added on Xbox. Obviously, I just follow him. We aren't friends on there. Oh, I wish. No, but you can see people you follow on Destiny, and like he was like a really high light level, way higher than me. He has you could tell he plays that game a lot. Like he really gets stuck in, and
why is it not working?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Working?
Yeah, mate. He's testing it, I suppose, isn't he?
Alan, he's got people for that.
Yeah,
and his people have people for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't disturb me. I'm grinding for that legendary weapon.
Or maybe he goes.
You can tell me about fiscal numbers tomorrow.
Phil, we've got Jim Ryan on the phone from PlayStation. Tell him to wait.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of a raid.
I'll talk to him when crossplay comes in. All right. Yeah.
Tell
Or
him
maybe
to just have me on Destiny when crossplay's there. We'll get stuck in the raid.
it's either that, or maybe he gets an intern in, and when he has to go into a meeting, he says, "Just farm me a bit more something out of that, will you? And just get him going.
Get back in there. I haven't got an anarchy yet. Get going. Don't come back until you've done it. You've got a day."
Cool. Oh, good stuff. Well, we actually had, and we're sort of we're running about on time, really, considering the amount that we've been through. We actually had another little bit of a talking point that we were going to go through, and this does talk very much around studios, and particularly PlayStation studios. So everyone will have heard of I would imagine he's a little known developer of the name of Hideo Kojima, of Metal Gear Solid fame.
What? Who's that? Metal Gear Solid.
Some random guy.
Like, he's not famous, is he?
No, that's
That's a short film, isn't it? That's not a game. That's a short film.
Steady on, mate. Steady on. There's some gameplay.
So, anyway, as I was trying to say, there's been some rumours going around about his next game. Did you want to fill us in again, Phil?
I did. Well, I'd like to say that firstly, there was a brand new PlayStation 5 horror game revealed called Abandoned. And the rumour was they all thought that this was the new Kojima game.
Because it looks a bit like PT, doesn't it?
Exactly, because it looked like PT, yeah. And the publisher, Blue Box Games, have had to go on record officially saying it's them, it's not a Kojima game. He has absolutely nothing to do with it.
That's something you've actually got to make a statement saying, no, we haven't even met him.
Yeah.
We don't even know him. He's not involved with our project.
Yeah. But, we'll ride off the high of that anyway. So the rumor is Microsoft are actually in talks with Kojima, and they want to get his next game to be an Xbox ecosystem exclusive. So much like Death Stranding was PlayStation 4 and then PC eventually, the plan is for this one to be Xbox and, again, PC. So that is very exciting. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm like... just nodding with joy because...
Go on, Alan, you go first.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not bothered. I'm not a fanboy. All of his games, my wife will slap me for this because she's a massive Metal Gear Solid fan, but I really couldn't care less. I don't rate him. The only thing I would say about...
The door's that way, Alan. You're on the wrong podcast, mate. If you could just leave and come back next week, that'd be great. Thank you.
Let me finish. The only thing I will say is that he pushes innovation in games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is the only thing I will say. He's always trying to push the boundaries of what is a gaming experience, and there are some elements of Death Stranding that are pretty damn good. They're out there. They're pushing that online capacity. How that online community interacts. Building the routes and putting things in that everybody can see. I think that's really, really clever, and that's ahead of its time. That's something that really won't catch on for another few years, and I think that's something we'll see in more games. And that's what he's great at. Sadly, from my personal experience, what he also does is also fill 3/4 of his game full of most of it, which is what? And it's just I just don't get it. I can't look past it. You said to me a while ago, Craig, didn't you, about Metal Gear Solid 5? You say, if you just look past some of these moments, there's a really good game. I don't want to have to look past some of those moments to enjoy the gameplay elements. I want to enjoy the game as a whole. I can't enjoy his games as a whole because he comes up, why don't we make it so he's got a magic kilt on? Yeah, and you can just fly. Hideo, it's a Space Marine game, but magic kilts. He's just too far out there for me.
Yeah.
I can see why people love him. He's just not my taste.
Yeah. So
I couldn't care less.
I'm kind of, because Phil, he'll, as he was said initially there, he's a massive fan of Kojima. I'm very much in between the two of you. So, there is Hideo Kojima in terms of a developer and a game designer is he's I don't know if you'd say genius. Maybe he is a genius. He has created some absolutely incredible stuff. The problem that I have with Kojima is that because he's a creative type, he wants to be a film director. So you get certain. The worst one for this was Metal Gear Solid 4 to the. Was it 4? 2? 4. Yes, 4 on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
2 was pretty bad.
To the point where I don't even know if I ever got to the end of the game. I remember turning the game on. I had a friend of mine down, and it's the PlayStation 3 had just come out. Or no, maybe been out a little while, but I just got mine. I said, "Do you want to check out?" It was an Xbox game. Check this out. He's like, "Yeah," because I mean, it was a stunning game. Always been beautiful looking game. I said, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I've just got this cutscene to watch." And then we get onto the game. 40 minutes. I sat there watching a cutscene of helicopters flying around and tanks driving and people kind of looking longingly at each other and not really talking much. And it was just it doesn't for me it takes away from an incredible experience. Now on the plus side of that, Metal Gear Solid 5 had a lot less of the mental story stuff in it. It had cutscenes, but they were shorter and they were more concise and it made more sense, which allowed it to be 95% game. And the game was fantastic. You know, the story wasn't bad. It was just a bit bonkers. You know, it wasn't, you feel like you're doing some kind of military strategy game and then weird magicians turn up and stuff like that. Well, Alan will be back in a minute. And then moving on after Metal Gear Solid 5, because obviously, Alan, you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 or Death Stranding, so I've played them both. Again, haven't managed to finish Death Stranding just because other things came out and I kind of put it down and I haven't picked it back up again.
And you didn't have a spare ladder.
Yeah, Death Stranding, I was sort of like, I don't think I'm going to like this game. It sounds really strange, really weird, but I'm going to give it a go, you know, because I'm pretty open to new stuff. And actually with that, because he got really top quality acting talent in, the cutscenes and the story stuff was actually really good. It was really well acted, and because the facial capture was so good, you could see the emotion on people's faces, and you'd watch a piece of that story and you'd want to find out what was happening next. Yes, it was still a bit crazy. Yes, it was a bit bonkers. Yes, you could go for a pee in the toilet and make a grenade out of your urine. It was a really very random game, but it was really good what he did with it, and I was very, very impressed with it. So I think for me, whatever he's working on next, who knows what it will be. I am excited to see what it is, particularly if he goes down the route of kind of still using this, Hollywood talent in his games and develop them in a kind of a more Western style. I'm quite excited about what's coming forward on that, to be honest. So it's. But yeah, sorry,
again, it's another plus thing for Microsoft and Game Pass. On that front, I can't fault it. You know, I mean, the more talent they get in, whether it appeals to me personally, doesn't matter. You know, I'm all for more content from more creators, whether that be big names like Hideo or smaller developers or people who've just got a 2 or 3 man team.
Yeah.
I think the more variety in ideas and content that you have on there means there's more accessibility and more variety for the whole player base. And that is always a good thing. So
yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, like you said, I'm very excited about it. I mean, my counterpoint to Alan is the crazy things that he finds frustrating and distracting are the things that make it a Kojima game almost. Like, I love the fact that in Metal Gear Solid you can hide inside a cardboard box, for example, and that's your approach to stealth, and it doubles up as quick travel in the first Metal Gear Solid game. If you hide in the back of the truck and then get in your cardboard box, as long as you use the right one, it takes you to a different part of the game. I think that's brilliant. I like the fact that in Metal Gear Solid 5, you could attach posters to the cardboard box. You could get one with a lady in a bikini and stand there and the guards would be like, oh, what's that? It's just mental stuff like that he does that I thought was, you know, nobody else does.
I'm glad you've got some happiness in your life, Phil.
Brilliant. Thank you. But it's stuff like that nobody else does. You know, when he wants to do his quick travel, he's got a special cigar that he smokes. I mean, God knows what he has in that cigar. I mean, it's clearly some good stuff because he sat there for like 12 hours and didn't move.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's all the little quirks. You know, I saw I follow is it the podcast Unlocked on Facebook, and there was somebody on there banging on about this exact same article where they're saying, Kojima's not worth it. You know, why do people give him all this praise? And it's like you said, it's that out of the box thinking, that absolute madness that he does. That generally, yes, there will be some blockers in the way, there'll be some mental story or some ridiculous mechanic or something like that. But whatever else he gets there, there's always some slice of genius in there that makes it different. In Death Stranding, it was the genius of using Norman Reedus, getting those top, as A+ class actors in there. Sorry, in Metal Gear Solid terms, that'd be S+ class actors.
Little inside joke there.
I've no idea. I didn't get it clearly. So
sorry, Alan.
But yeah,
I'll explain later. Never mind. He got that in there, and then he managed to turn what effectively was a walking simulator, because that's what it was. You stack up your boxes, you walk, and when you fall over, you got to pull your triggers to balance yourself. Yeah. Who'd have thought that would sell as a game, a walking simulator? But yet it did.
Was actually fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was clever. It had the combat in there, but the fact you couldn't kill people, so you had to use different approaches to it was brilliant.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's a really good point. To make somebody who makes a game that has guns and weapons in, you can shoot and kill people, but if you shoot and kill people, that's a massive no-no. You can't really do.
Ends, yeah,
the world ends basically. It's so there's combat in there that you're not really supposed to use to its full degree. It's difficult to explain, but when you play it, you understand it. Using kind of non-lethal tactics with stuff, even though you could use lethal if you wanted, and it has a reaction to the things that you do. It's very very interesting stuff. But yeah, I think
there's nothing like throwing a turd grenade at somebody. It doesn't do anything, but it's just really satisfying.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? I think we're pushing on time now, so we'll kind of move on. But I think just to cap off, we've got to say again, it's a rumor. It's all off the bottom of a story where there's a bit of a thing from Jeff Grubb from GamesBeat, saying that he knows for a fact that Kojima's in talks with Xbox to bring his new game to the platform.
I mean, could I ask one cheeky question?
You can, if you want to.
If they do, Kojima does do it. What do you want to see? Is there a particular game or something you want to see?
Next Silent Hill game.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. That's kind of.
Hang on a second. Didn't you have a heart attack? That's not a good idea, mate.
I mean, come on. That Silent Hill 2 is one of my favourite games of all time. I'm afraid to say. No. I would be very very happy. And I didn't play PT because that was only on the PC, I think. So
no, PlayStation.
Was it PlayStation? Yeah. So I never played that. But from what I've seen, it was for basically walking around a loop in a corridor. It was just ingenious. It was, and I would have loved. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen what he did with that. And that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. Well, it's for me. The guy's so out there. I couldn't even hope to begin to think about. I would rather he didn't bring back an old property. I'd rather he did something just completely new and different, and just to see what he comes up with, just to see what that mental nutter
grocery shopping simulator, probably.
Yeah. The thing is, he will probably make it fun.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of two sides. I agree with you, Craig, in terms of I'd love to see whatever his next absolute madness, whatever is stewing up there. I want to see what it is, because it's going to be mental. It's going to have something new and crazy in it, and it's going to divide people right down the middle.
Yeah,
they will love it, and it will be the Marmite of gaming once again.
Yeah.
But part of me wants Microsoft to buy the Metal Gear rights off of Konami, because they're just going to do nothing with it and sink it, and then get him to make another one. Because I really love that series and I want it to come back so much.
Yeah, well, it did come back a bit. Metal Gear Survive. That was anyway. Less said about that, the better, I think. Anyway,
let's move on.
moving on. Right, so time to move on to a game. So Phil has come up with a new quiz for us. Quiz stroke game. So what's going to happen is he is going to tell us all about the game and what we're supposed to do, and then by the magic of editing, it will magically appear. So over to you, Phil.
Yes. So, as we are a games podcast, rather than a quiz, I thought we'd play a game. The game this week is the oldest school of games. We're going to play Hangman. So, I have 10 Hangmans. I think that's the right term for it. Hangman. So, basically, the first one is going to be some popular games with a particular theme. And I'm going to ask you to try and guess the theme, or the link between them, shall we say. I think it could be quite interesting. And then the second is publishers, and you're going to have to guess the publishers. And again, there's a link between the publishers as well. And then I have indeed added a tiebreaker. Should you be so hot and on it that it's a 50-50 either way? Sound good?
I feel this is unlikely.
I don't see success in my future, but let's do this.
I promise you, I've made these games. They're deliberately easy. Like
nice.
I've not, I've decided not to do the Craig with a. For Craig, there is a mastermind quiz of the hardest possible questions about Halo.
You're still bitter after all this time. You're still bitter, Phil.
Anyway, right. So,
dear.
as I said, through the magic of editing, just like this, it shall appear. And we are back. So this is, I was going to say I'll apologise to audio listeners, but we're going to cut this out of audio, so you won't even hear that. So this is just for your video, guys. We have this very high-tech notepad with some biro on it. So let's see. Let's see how this goes.
Technology, people.
Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. This is how they used to play it. Or so I've been told.
So this is what happens. This is what happens when we leave Phil in charge of the quiz. He goes to some elaborate game.
It's like the audio quiz all over again.
Next week it's a treasure hunt. Yeah. He hasn't thought of the logistics on a podcast, but it's a treasure hunt.
Right, go on then, Phil.
Okay, so as you can see, number 1 is right here. So you basically need to start guessing some letters if you can take it in turns.
Okay,
do you want to have a buzzer
first because number 1's Metal Gear Solid.
Is it?
Is
Are
it?
you genuinely guessing that, or am I writing some letters down, or what?
No. I was just joking. Carry on, please carry on. Just ignore me.
Who's going first?
So, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on, Craig. You go first.
So, right, A.
Oh. We've got one.
You were right, Alan.
It bloody is. It really is. Oh my god.
So that's 1 point to Alan.
Just say it, please.
Metal Gear Solid, Phil.
It actually is Metal Gear Solid.
Of course it was.
Oh my god.
I was like, I'm going to have to eat my hat. I told you it was easy. You know what? I can't spell either. That's the other problem. So there is
waiting to set up, and I was just looking at it. I was going 5
Metal Gear
letters,
Solid.
4 letters, 5 letters. Hang on a minute.
So yeah, obviously we've got 1 point to Alan, and there is a bonus point if you can tell me the publisher of Metal Gear Solid.
Oh god. Can we
What,
do
me?
it? Yeah.
Either of you,
Konami.
whoever goes first. Yeah, Konami. There we go. So
Yes,
point
Konami.
each then. Okay, number 2 then.
Right, over to you,
Do you
Alan.
want to have a
You
guess at
guess
this
your
one first, Alan, before we do it?
Yeah, all right. Number 2, I am going to go for the letter S.
The letter S. There is an S.
E.
There is a letter E as well. There is an E there. An E there. And an E there.
Alan?
You'll go, Alan.
Okay. I'm going to go for R.
Going to go for R. There is indeed an R at the start here. You'll go, Craig.
T.
There is
I've got
T
it.
as well.
I've got it.
Go on then, Alan.
Resident Evil.
It is. I told you it wasn't going to be difficult. It's a point to Alan. And again, point for the publisher of Resident Evil. Craig's so quick that he's evening it out. It was indeed Captain. Told you it was easy. I didn't want you guys to get stuck. Okay, moving on to number 3.
A.
Tried to make this one a bit trickier. So you're going for A, are you, Craig?
Mm-hmm.
There's an A there. 2 A's. Go on, Alan.
I'm going to go for L.
There is indeed an L. There's an L there.
I'll go for an E.
Man, you guys haven't even missed yet. There's 2 E's there.
S from me.
Going for an S. Yes! You've guessed something there isn't. I can draw a bit of the hangman. Look at that. Give him
I'm
a...
really concerned at this point now.
An I.
An I, you said, yeah. Let's have a look. There's no I either.
I'm going to go for a P, please, Bob.
A P, please, Bob.
Bit of
There is a P there.
ancient quiz for you there.
What's up next, Craig?
I'll have a D, please, Bob.
Love it. Let's have a look. No D's, I'm afraid. Give him the little support strut down there so we can get.
Who loses if the guy gets hanged? Do we both
Both of
lose?
you. Yeah, you get no points.
Okay. I'm going to go for an O.
There we go. 2 O's.
Octopath Traveler.
Yes. Good work, Craig. Can you tell me the publisher?
It's Atlas.
Not the one I was looking for.
No, I don't know.
They're the developer, not the publisher, aren't they? Do you want to try again? Bigger name.
Square Enix.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, for God's sake. You and your ridiculous memory when it comes to developing.
Okay, moving on to number 4. Alan, you go first.
Got to slide that up slightly, just so people can see it. There you go, lovely.
Number 4.
A.
How very original and a wise choice. You'll go, Craig?
D. If you
Alan?
Is it R?
There is an R.
Dark Souls
Yep, he's got it.
from Software.
And, yep.
He didn't even ask the question.
It was indeed Dark Souls. Okay.
I was being polite. I was waiting for him to ask, and you just jump in.
Well, actually, Dark Souls is the developer, so it's not the publisher. Do you want to guess the publisher, Alan? Go on.
I don't know what it is.
I believe it's Bandai, isn't it?
Yeah, Bandai Namco.
probably, yeah.
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, I knew that totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, nudge
number
it up a bit
5.
again.
The final one for this round. What letter would you like?
Was it me first now, or I can't remember?
Alan went first last time, so it'll be you first this time.
Go on then.
I'll have a Z, please.
You have a Z.
Yeah.
Nope, there's no Zs on there, I'm afraid.
Right.
Do me a little pole to hang you on. I'm not going to get to hang you on tonight, I don't think, but go on, Alan.
I'm going to go for X.
You go for an X. Oh, you want me to hang you now? I see where this is going. There's no X, I'm afraid.
I'm going to go for Q, please. Just go for all the high-scoring Scrabble letters.
I thought you were going for QWERTY there for a minute.
I'm going to go for Y.
Yeah, for a Y. There is a Y. There is a
Damn
Y.
I mean, that's good. Really, it's great.
There's a Y at the end.
Yeah, P.
There is a P. Just make sure it's just the one. Yep. Okay. Go on, Alan.
J.
And there is no J, I'm afraid.
An E.
E. An E. There is an E. There isn't an E. What am I on about? There's no E. Can't spell, apparently. Oh, this is looking good. I'm going to need to hang you both now. Go on, Alan.
U.
There isn't a U either. This is looking good.
You've drawn him way too low. There's no way you're going to be able to hang him unless he's got no legs. Because
He hasn't.
He's touching the floor, Phil.
No, he's like Chris from Family Guy. He's got really tiny legs.
I.
Let's have a look. No, there's no I either. Look, there's his tiny legs. Is that okay? Can you hang him like that?
Yeah, it's fine.
When you got 2 more,
B.
you're just doing this now so I can hang you. I'll put the support brace in. Last one, Craig. Can you guess something? Come on.
We've had Q, we've had Z. I'm going to go for W. Yes. We did it, Alan. We did it.
Yes.
I hung
Teamwork,
you.
Craig. Teamwork.
Good work. Just to make sure, I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. Just going to leave it there. You'll never know. It's going to make it harder later. That's
Tell us what the answer is.
I'm not going to sleep tonight now.
Do you want to know?
Yeah,
Do you
just tell us
wanna
what
know?
it is. Tell us what it is.
Go on then. It was Phantasy Star. Can you tell me the publisher for a point?
Square Enix.
Sega.
Nope. Yep.
God damn you, Craig.
He's on it with his publishers, isn't he? Okay. So the next one. So this is the opposite way round. So this is publishers of games.
Right, I'll see you guys next week.
Again, I've made them quite obvious, I hope. And there will be bonus points if you can tell me. Oh, that kind of gives it away. Let's do the first one. I'll tell you. Basically, there will be a game that I want you to guess as well. Now, this is based on basically the top grossing games, so best-selling games of all time.
So what are we guessing here? We're guessing a publisher name.
You're guessing the publisher, and they publish one of the top-selling games of all time, based on number of copies sold. Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, who wants to go first? Shall we go with Alan, because I think Craig went first last time?
Okay. E.
And for an E. There's no E. No E.
Well, that party's not going to be any fun, is it?
A.
Craig? A. There is an A. There's an A there. Go on, Alan.
S.
S. There is two S's. One there and one there. Go, Craig.
I.
There is an I. Right there. Alan?
I'm thinking. G.
Take a bow. G. You're going for a G. There is a G. Right there.
An F.
Going for an F.
F for Foxtrot.
No F for Foxtrot, I'm afraid.
M.
Alan? M. You're going for an
For
M.
Munter. M for Munter.
Nice. There is an M. So, publisher of a really popular game. Very popular.
I've got
Sold
no
very
idea.
well. Next letter, Craig.
Y. I've absolutely no idea.
There's no Y.
If Craig's got no idea, there's not a chance for me.
Really? I think you'll get it once you see some more letters.
I'm going to go for O.
There is an O. Let's have a look. There's two O's.
So this is
in fact.
publisher,
There's
not
one
developer,
there.
yeah? Mojang Studios.
Yes. Mojang Studios.
Minecraft.
Yep.
Which is the...
That is exact.
So is it developer or publisher, did you say? Sorry.
That'd be developer was
Yes.
Mojang, wasn't it?
Yes. I thought you
Yes,
said it was
it'd be
publishers.
developer. No. Publishers was the last one I asked you. This is developers. Oh, wait, no. It is publishers. I'm an idiot. Either way, you got it right. You get a point each.
So that's a developer, that is, not the publisher.
That's the developer, sorry.
Yeah.
The rest of them are publishers. I do apologise.
Okay, that's all right. No worries. Yeah.
Although when I looked,
Minecraft.
they were listed under the publishers as well, because I
Yeah.
checked this first.
Alan's got
So
a
they
point.
must
Has
have-
Alan got a point for Minecraft?
He did, yes.
I think there may be some confusion because didn't they publish it before they were bought out by by Microsoft? So
When I
in theory,
looked-
they would have been the publisher
it's-
and the
yeah, they
developer
were listed.
when they first got it.
Possibly.
Yeah,
So that might be
Mojang were
where-
listed as a
In
publisher.
fairness to Phil, Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
So yeah, just for reference, they sold 200 million copies of Minecraft. Puts them number one.
We must do a let's play on that, boys.
Okay, let's move this swiftly along with number 2 for another fantastic developer / publisher. Fantastic publisher.
A.
Sold a lot of games. A, yeah. There is an A.
Can I just say, can you calm down a bit, Craig? Your excitement is actually taking
He just wants
over
me
a
to
bit.
get on with it, that's why. Okay, there's an A.
2 A's. Look at that. You should get
2
extra
A's.
points for if you get a letter that's in there more than once. S.
S. There is an S. There's an S there. And an
Sassafras.
S there. Look at that.
R.
There is an R. So we've got an R at the start here. And an R at the end. Let's think about that. Okay, Alan, go.
What's that letter at the end of the first one? Is that an R at the end as well?
That's an R, yeah. R at the start, R at the end. Sorry.
I.
Look, an I. There is no I. Just like there isn't one in team.
I've got it.
Go on.
Rockstar Games, and it's
It
GTA
is.
5.
Yes, well done, mate.
It is. You're absolutely correct.
Well done, mate.
2 points to Alan. It's looking a bit healthier, mate. Okay, moving on to number 8.
Slide it up a little bit,
Just
mate.
reference GTA. 140 million copies. 100.
That game.
Yeah,
How old is that
140
game
million.
now? That game is nearly nearly 10 years old now, isn't it? And it's still like
It was 2013, I think, the release date.
yeah,
Yeah.
so 9 years old, and it's still always in the top 5.
Mad, isn't it?
It's just online. It's just mental, mental.
They
Great
got
game.
a good cash cow right there. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Alan is due to guess first on this one.
M.
M for mother. No M, I'm afraid.
Misanthrope.
A.
There is an A. There's one right there.
And for those of you listening or watching in the East Anglia region, particularly in Essex, Cambridge or Norfolk, Phil is actually doing an advertisement for County Broadband, a hyper-fast fibre supplier in the area. So, countybroadband.co.uk, go there.
Not
see if you
actually a sponsor.
Not intentional. Oops. Didn't have a plain pen. Didn't think about it.
Sorry, go on, Alan.
Would you,
Right, I'm going to go for the letter S for sternum.
Sternum. There's an S at the end. Oh, please continue. Craig?
I'm going to go for a Y for Yahtzee.
No Y's, I'm afraid. No Yahtzees here.
I'm going to go for a C for constabulary.
Why is that so
There is a
funny?
C. Oh, next, Craig.
Broken the podcast.
I'm going to go for a B for burglarization.
There's no burglarization going on here, I'm afraid.
I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for an O for oral.
There is an O. Hang on a sec.
It's a good job I only came up with this game this way through the actual quiz. If I got
There
thought
we
of
go.
it at the beginning, we never would have made it this far.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
I'm glad you didn't. Okay, I'd have just left it at 5, I think, if I didn't know that was going to happen. Next guess.
Oh, I'm going to go for an S for supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
We got an
Oh,
S, mate.
no! All right, I'm going to go for...
Wasted. Go on, Alan, next one.
I'm going to go for an L for litmus paper.
There is an L. Next one, Craig.
I'm going to go for an E for Empire Strikes Back.
There is 2 E's.
Boom.
I've not even looked at this, to be honest. I've just been having fun guessing the letters and thinking of words.
There we go. So excuse my appalling E's there. Next guess, Alan, I think.
Electronic
I'm gonna go
Arts.
Yes.
I couldn't get the second word. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, well done.
What's the game, Craig?
Yeah, come on, Craig. What's the game? So, in the top 10 of most sold games published by Electronic Arts.
Well, technically, it's published by now. I mean, I'm going to say Tetris.
It is, yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
So the Electronic Arts version of Tetris has sold 100 million games.
Nice.
The Nintendo version sold 43 million. So that's not a combined total; they're separates.
Nice.
I am impressed. I didn't think you'd get that.
Go those Russians.
Well done. Okay, number 9. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go for. Yeah, I think I'm going to start off with an E for ear hole.
Okay. There's an E.
I'm going to go for a P, please, Bob.
P? P? There is no P, I'm afraid.
I'm going to go for a G for gunt.
No gunts here, I'm afraid.
Better go see a doctor then, mate.
Maybe. Go on, Craig.
Yeah, I'll have a Y for Yennefer.
No Y's.
An
Go on, Alan.
S for sturdy.
And we can
No
now,
S, I'm afraid, either.
we can now see the cameras. We can see me and Alan now.
Oh, okay. There
we go.
I've
I've just added us in now, just on the edge there. Is it my guess?
Cool.
It is indeed.
I'll have an I, please, Phil.
I. There is an I.
for indigo.
There we go. We've got an I in there. Just the one, though.
Could I have an M for minge, please?
Oh, none of those here at the moment either, I'm afraid. Next, Craig.
Can I have a D for distended testicle?
Oh, there's a D in there. I'm glad we're enjoying this. We'll probably have to cut it after this anyway.
That's my heart, mates.
Descended into anarchy. Next, Alan.
Okay, could I please have an ambulance? No, I'll have could I have C for cuppage, please?
No cuppage going on here either, I'm afraid.
Can I? Have we had P yet? We haven't.
We've had three.
We've had a P.
We've had a P.
There's no
Craig.
P.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we've already had a P.
Oh, I'll have I don't know, a Z. Oh, for zebra. Oh God, I can't.
No Zs, I'm afraid. Go on, Alan. Compose yourself. No descended
If
testicles
anybody
here.
gets to this point in the podcast, I'll be amazed. We've been
Can I
doing this
have-
for nearly 25 minutes. Right, hangman?
Oh, man. You know what? Maybe we'll just cut it at 5 when we actually publish it, yeah.
This is no way. We've got to. People need to hear this.
This guy,
If they
I
choose
can-
to log off before the end, that's their common sense. Right. We
That's
need.
true.
I'll have a T for tumultuous, please.
There's a T.
Oh dear.
There's a T.
All right, what have we got? I've not even.
That's Nintendo,
Oh yeah.
That is.
That's the first time I've even looked
and I'm
at
going to
it.
go with Super Mario.
Nintendo. It's not Super Mario.
Mm.
Would you like another guess about a top-selling game, the top-selling game from Nintendo? Give you a hint, it's not on a Game Boy.
Pokemon.
Wii Sports.
It's Wii Sports.
Ah, yeah, good one. Yeah, good call.
It is Wii Sports. Okay. The final game. The
Tears are
final
running
one.
down my face.
Feel like this one was the more difficult one, so this could be an extended experience, but we'll try and make it
What
smooth.
did you say? A distended experience.
Again, no distended testicles here.
All right, just checking.
Oh, come on, let's start with the
Right,
vowels.
I'm going to start here. I'm going to go with a B for bowels.
B for bowels. There is a B for bowels in there.
I'm going to go for an A for acorns. I don't. Yeah.
There's an A. Yep. There's an A right there.
Right, I'm going to go for L for leprosy.
No L, I'm afraid.
Oh dear. Sniffling. S, please.
Going for an S. No S.
I'm going to go for. I think I'll try M for mummification.
M for mummification. I'm afraid there's no mummified remains here.
Do you want to nudge your paper up a little bit, Phil? You can't see the bottom of the hangman because I'm sure people are riveted.
My apologies.
They wouldn't want to miss it.
Is it my go? Yeah,
it is indeed.
N for November.
Got an N at the end here.
I'm going to go for an O for orifice.
O for orifice. There's an O there and an O there.
I'm going to go for an R for Return of the Jedi.
R for Return of the Jedi. There is an R there.
Oh, I've got to do it. I'm going to... No, we've already had A. I can't go for a New Hope, Craig. You ruined it.
Go for, yeah, and we've had N. Go for H for Hope.
It's not the same, is it? Okay, I'm going to go for I for insertion.
There is an I. Right there. Craig?
E.
Look, E. There is an E. Right there. Alan?
It's something corporation. I'm going to go...
So top selling game. Sold 70 million copies.
PUBG Corporation.
It is, yeah.
Oh my
PUBG.
God.
PUBG being the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
For anybody please still listening, thank you so much for putting up with that. I hope you had as much fun as I did, because I certainly had some
Mate,
fun.
I think there's another 5 to go.
No. There's no more. There's no more. There was 10 in total.
I was just about to pull the life support then.
Yeah. If you want to do the bonus question, it's basically which publisher has the most games in the top 10 most sold games. Does that make sense?
Activision.
EA.
Nope.
Nintendo.
Yep.
Nintendo, yeah.
It was Nintendo.
So what was the scores then? Who won?
You won, Craig. You scored 14 points.
Nice.
Alan scored 8 points.
That's not bad. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
It was good.
Cool.
Well, I'd like to say thank you, Phil, but I'm not going to.
But it's time you're never going to get back. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you to everybody who made it to the end. And if you made it to the end, I'm really sorry. Thought this would go quicker.
I'm not quite sure what I'm going to name this episode. Yes, maybe
The
you may want to
longest
hangman
quiz.
yourself by the end. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much, Phil. That was fun. Good little game to play at the end there. Yeah, it's a bye from me. It's a bye from Alan.
Bye!
It's a bye from Phil. We can't see him, but it's a bye from Phil.
Just my bit of paper. Bye! Look, if I wave, you can see the shadow on the paper.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.